This is the GJRB Online Network. Now, from the GJRB Spreaker Studios on Clinton's North End, just atop of the Lion Shopping District, it's the Gary Russen program right here on GJRB Online. This is the Freestyle Friday edition. Hello everyone, hello everywhere, across America. I'm Gary J. Russen. Hope you'll stay with me for some great talk radio as we bring you the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Got some real good talk radio here, our Freestyle Friday edition. Yeah, that's right, Freestyle Friday. My good friends, that's what we do right here.
Yeah, the Gary Russen program, it's Freestyle Friday.
Yeah. Got a great show this afternoon. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be talking about different things today. We've got a lot of really good things interesting in the news. And I hope you'll stay with me this afternoon. A lot of interesting stuff. Sunshine outside our Spreaker Studios, blue skies, and temperatures in the upper 80s. We'll take a look at our weather on the fives coming up in just a little bit. And, of course, we'll have some interesting talk, maybe a guest or two, maybe somebody in the chat room. You just never know what's going to happen on this program. It's Freestyle Friday. We're going to start it off, and you never know where it's going to take us. You know what I mean? Because this is a Freestyle Friday edition of the Gary Russen program. Now, we got a lot of interesting things to talk about, and I hope you'll stay with me today. And let's see, kind of an interesting show today. First off, got a lot of interesting news going on. More earthquakes. First off, I gotta say, I got to my good friend Sue, living up there in Seattle. They had an earthquake up there this morning, registering, I think it was 3 points on the Richter scale, and then they had another one, it was a 4.6, and then I think they had an aftershock that was like 3.4 or something like that. And I guess they had, I guess it was the earthquake. It sounded like it was felt from another earthquake in Ridgecrest. I've been looking at the, I was looking at the USGS site, which I have on the computer here. The USGS site I have on there. I can watch the seismic activity going on the USGS website, which is kind of interesting because you can sit there and watch that and follow the small earthquakes that are going on. We'll be talking about it later. There's been some earthquakes going on around that Cordero Yellowstone National Park as well, and we're going to talk about that on the program today. I guess the magnitude earthquake this morning was felt all the way up into Seattle, Washington. And we got some listeners, and I know we got a Spreaker follower listener in Oregon, and that is Rachel Ozzy Jarvis, who and I wonder if she felt anything up there. That was a strong quake. Again, 4.6, which is not very strong, but probably enough to feel something. You got to really look at it that way. But we'll be talking about that and some other interesting stuff going on that is going here on Friday. Freestyle Friday edition. One of those 2-day talk shows, like we do our weekend music shows, 2-day talk show, today and tomorrow. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra tomorrow. And I was talking to Ben, and Ben Osman Osun, our good friend from Pittsburgh, he is going to be on with us tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about something else that's going on in Pittsburgh. Pretty weird, actually. They had another sinkhole, and it was like a big one, around the North Hills area. What is known as McKnight Road. And I know that from our area because we used to go up there quite a bit when we were kids. My mother would be shopping there because that's a big shopping district up there around McKnight Road. Huge shopping district. I mean, there's a lot of big malls up there. They got a mall up there, and they have a lot of really, not just malls and stores, but they also have movie theaters, and I mean, it's just a big area. A lot of restaurants, and they had a sinkhole along McKnight Road there. I was looking at it. There's like water sloshing out of it. Pretty huge hole. And you gotta imagine that. I don't think I want to mess with that. But we'll be talking about that big hole. And I'm looking for something. That's why I'm kind of repeating myself, because whenever I do that, I'm looking for something in my rundown here that I wanted to do real quick. Getting my Fox News up is what I'm looking for. And I always keep forgetting which one it is. And sometimes I always look for stuff, and then lately I've been going into things and saying, what am I here for? You ever go into a room and forget what the heck you came in for, and then when you remember it was too late? Did that Sunday, Thursday, yesterday. Well, because I go through the last 7 days at our church, and couldn't remember exactly what I came in here for before I left. And I thought, I'm not going to waste my time looking at until it comes back to my brain. My train of thought, comes back to the station. So I said, to heck with it. I'm going to just leave. And would you know it? I arrived at the church where we do our stuff. And I have another studio there, my other studio at the church. And would you know, I remembered I had forgot my flash drive, which, I needed to do stuff on. And, you know how that goes. Without making any more of a fuss, I said, okay, I'm not going to do too much today. That was Thursday, and I thought, well, I do a majority of my production on Friday anyway. Whatever I can before I go on the air here, because I was going to do a show today anyway, and planned on it. And I just remembered I had a flash drive that I had left over, but I'll get it. I'll get it this week, because there was some stuff I wanted to do. I still haven't finished up my other projects. One of which is an editing project that I'm working on, so I need to get that done. So I've got a lot going on here. I'm busy man, and it just got a lot of things to do. So being in radio and production, there's always something to do as far as that's concerned. Got some interesting news we're going to talk about. We're going to get into that news here in just a little bit. And I'm going to disconnect that temporarily, because I think we got enough full power on here to be okay. And let's see. That figures it would be the sound bell. I don't want that. Okay. All right. I just have to go into the sound system and make sure that's working. Okay, I'm going to go there. Let's see. I want to try something first. Okay, let's see here. Let me see.
They have to do with...
Okay.
Just...
Okay, it is there. All right, good. All right, sorry about that. I had to check my Fox feed and make sure that was working. Tell you what, we got a lot coming up, so, I know my opening monologue is one of those interesting ones that sound like some of the other podcasters that are on here. We got a lot of fun stuff, so we're going to get started here on the Gary Russen program here on GGRB Online. It's our freestyle edition on a Friday, and that means that no holds barred. Doors are open. We'll just see where this takes us, and see what's going on in the news, and talk along with that. So it's just start a show and see where it goes. In other words, and that's what this program is on Fridays. No particular log, don't follow anything, and no time constraints of anything except maybe a few breaks. Other than that, it's just some scheduled promos I have, and that's about it. Other than that, I just do my show. I have some interesting things to talk about, and I hope that you'll join me this afternoon on the Gary Russen program. Tomorrow, the Saturday Extra will be on the air at 3 o'clock Central Daylight, right here on GGRB Online, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. And we'll be talking with Ben Ostman, and he's going to be on with us. We're going to have some birthdays later on. We have a birthday on our Spreaker, so we're going to acknowledge that. And a lot of other really good stuff. So stick with me, the Gary Russen program. Saturday Extra coming up tomorrow. But this is the Gary Russen program Freestyle Friday edition. And it starts with some news. So why don't we get that going and see what we have here. Top of the news this hour is a report on okay, what is it? I don't want that. Why is it? Okay, follow link. Follow link. You stupid booger. Okay, well, we know it's about the Acosta. Is that his name? He is the see, now it's stuck. Okay, here we go. Labor Secretary Alex Acosta is resigning over the criticism over the Epstein deal. And we have a report now from Fox's John Decker.
With the president by his side before he departed on Marine One, Embattled Labor Secretary Alex Acosta announced he's resigning effective 1 week from today.
And as I look forward, I do not think it is right and fair for this administration's Labor Department to have Epstein as the focus rather than the incredible economy that we have today.
Acosta had come under fire over the way he handled a sex crimes case against businessman Jeffrey Epstein a decade ago when he was U.S. Attorney for Southern Florida. President Trump praised Acosta for his work as Labor Secretary and said his resignation was not necessary.
Okay, saying his resignation is not necessary. Well, interesting thing there. He decided to resign after that thing because I guess, really smeared him in a way. Didn't look too good for him in the beginning. He pretty much had to leave. And President Trump thought it wasn't necessary for him to leave. Acosta was resigning his position following a criticism over that, and helped to orchestrate for billionaire Jeffrey Epstein's 2008 was under the federal investigation for molesting dozens of underage girls. But Acosta, who was a U.S. attorney in Florida at the time, secured a plea deal ending the investigation and resulting in Epstein's pleading guilty to lower state charges. He was sentenced just 18 months in jail, despite facing life in prison on the charges. He was released after spending 13 months behind bars. During that time in prison, Epstein was allowed to leave to go to work and even had his own private secretary detail to protect him while in lockup. So, wow. I mean, he not only was under lockup, but he was under protection. Imagine that. he had bad dealings going along with that situation. Meanwhile, it looks like another news. I'm going to go to my main Facebook page here for real quick and see if that's showing up. Another interesting story that just come up. The one comedian had a report on this story. The young comedian, they are trying to have the one comedian, I just can't remember his name now. Here's a report. This is from Rachel Sutherland from Fox, reporting on the 911 first responders.
The vote comes weeks after an impassioned plea from comedian Jon Stewart to make sure 9/11 first responders are properly cared for. He appeared today at a news conference flanked by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
These people deserve to have that portion of the burden removed from their lives. Because trust me, you're not fixing their problems.
The current law is set to expire next year. The House is expected to renew the compensation fund. No word on when the Senate will take up the measure.
Wow, when a comedian takes action like that and demands full for the first responders, full I mean, that's fabulous. I mean, he had this set up, and it was I guess signed into a law today. So that's good. I thought maybe I'd see that news story online. And of course, depending on Facebook to give you a news story like that breaking right away, forget that. I'm going to go over to my I'm going to drop over now to my Twitter and see if that news story is up there too, because I was looking for that earlier and couldn't find it. So I don't know. I just don't know why. I like I said before, and I'm not going to say anything more about it. I'm not happy with Facebook at this time because they are not, they're just not nice at all about my program or giving me good news coverage. So I'm going to other sources. Meanwhile, let's go down the page a little bit, see if we can find anything else in the news today. Hurricane, we're going to talk about that coming up. There's that storm. There's like a tropical storm that brewed out down there in the south around Louisiana. And they got a storm that could turn into a hurricane. And we're going to talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. And a whole lot more. You're listening to the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. This is our Freestyle Friday edition. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the program. Always glad when we have our listeners out there enjoying the show. And, glad you could be with me today. The Gary Russen program Saturday Extra coming up tomorrow. 2 days in a row. Great talk radio here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And I'll be right back in just a moment with a look at some more news and give you our weather on the fives coming up. This is the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Yes, pump it up, because Up and Coming is back on GJRB. New emerging artists in all genre, from rock to easy listening to cover songs. If you and your group would like to have your song on Up and Coming, send me an MP3 and an email to GaryJ65@yahoo.com or GaryJ021361@gmail.com. If your song is on any one of the emerging sites like SoundCloud, SoundClick, Reverb Nation, iTunes, or Spotify, let me know where it is, and I'll find it. I review songs every week, and if I like your song, it plays on GJRB and is added to the GJRB music rotation. So get your song on. Up and Coming, new emerging artist show starts this month on GJRB. Yeah, Up and Coming is back on the air. As you remember straight, that was an original program here on GJRB Online. It went away for a while due to lack of new music, and just going to be bringing it back because I just haven't had that show on for quite some time. It was a good show. I always enjoyed putting that program on, and it's back on the air. So I hope you'll be joining me for that one. I'll give you an air date. Don't have one particularly set up for that yet, because I think that show should be scheduled, because it is a emerging artist program. And I have a few new artists that are going to be on this program. I played them already, a couple of them, including Keith Brooks. That new song I played the other day on my Gary J in the Morning show. We'll play that one, and let's see what else. Samuel Day has a new song that we've been playing, Time to Live. It is a new project coming out too, by the way, and I'm going to see if we can get him on, talk about it maybe. New music, it's absolutely fabulous. I've been posting it from time to time, and it's I guess a new album project I believe he's working on, so he's out of Cincinnati, and we have some new emerging artists all the time here on GJRB Online, because this is an independent label internet station, that's what I call it, and that means that we have new music all the time here on GJRB Online, and brand new songs, and it's just fabulous, so hope you'll tune in for that broadcast here on GJRB Online. That's right here on Spreaker. Hey, tell you what we're going to do right now, though. I'm going to get ready, because I got some more interesting news. We're going to do some celeb birthdays. I think I have those up there. There's whether or not I put it there. Let me go and get my birthday theme here real quick from my database, because we do have a birthday to announce here. So we're going to put that in, and throw in some of the celebrity birthdays that you are celebrating your birthday with today. So I need to go over to my back into my Facebook page and pull up that one under saved. So I'm going to do that and roll that through. Let's see. Down here is celebrity birthdays. Let's see, we got that. Sometimes I need to clean that out from time to time, because what happens is I get all confused as to where my birthdays are, because I had saved it and now I can't find it. That figures, and I know I put it up there because I thought for sure I saved it. And I know one of them is Lisa Rinna, who played on Days of Our Lives for a lot of years. She's 56. So why don't we just go ahead and throw that in there, and a big happy birthday going out right now to, let's see, where is that? Oh yeah, John Tritchler, I believe it is. A friend of mine from high school, celebrating her birthday today. So happy birthday to John Tritchler. Good friend of mine from high school, celebrating a birthday today, and he's celebrating his birthday again with Lisa Rinna, who was on the who did a lot of TV. She did various programs, but she was well remembered as Billie Reed, Austin Reed's sister, on Days of Our Lives for a lot of years. So happy birthday to Lisa Rinna today. Gary J. Russen with you on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the Gary Russen program. Here it's our Freestyle Friday edition of the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. And it's time now to do Weather in the News. And why don't we go over to that now, Weather in the News, under my saved column. And let's just go down there. All my saved stuff is, and find this thing, Weather in the News, because there is the biggest news right now is down south in Louisiana. There is a tropical storm right now that is brewing there, that's causing a lot of flooding, and there is a lot of flooding going on there, and looks like it's a mess. And it looks like it could brew into a hurricane, from what it reports. So, according to a Fox meteorologist who is saying that this could turn into a hurricane. The storm is a tropical storm Barry. That's what they're calling it. And this storm is going to, they say, could turn into a hurricane. So, looking at the weather right now, weather on the 5s, get this started early. It's the National Hurricane Center right now is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Barry in the northern Gulf of Mexico. This dangerous storm surge, some heavy rains, flooding, and also some wind conditions are expected over across the north central Gulf Coast. Hurricane warnings are now in effect for portions of Louisiana's coast, from Intercoastal City to Grand Isle, and into the tropical warning, which is in effect now for Metro New Orleans. So New Orleans under this threat, and they're saying that this storm is going to cause some storm surges and everything. Now I'm looking for that story. And you think I can find it? I'm going to go into my sound bites section where I had that story to begin with. I'm going to go into my sound bites part of it under Fox Newscast. And let's see what we got here. Okay, here's a report. Okay, this is a report on the Tropical Storm Barry, now bearing on the coast, and they say this could be a pretty nasty storm.
The Mississippi River is at 16 feet level in New Orleans, and the levees are at 20 feet. So only about 4 feet of space there. We're going to see a storm surge that's going to come on in, and we're going to see rainfall totals that are going to be somewhere around the 10 to 20 inch range.
And that's, they said this storm was going to turn into a hurricane. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We'll do a Weather on the 5s with our friends at Weather Nation next hour, right here on GJRB Online. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour on all music shows. 25 and 55 on all talk shows, right here on GJRB Online. Bring you weather when you need it. And, of course, any time that in the hour that ends in 5, if we get into something on this show, which usually can happen once in a while, like a phone call, or, we kind of go crazy, which happens once in a while on this program, and we're going to check into different places like Convo and MeWe and Twitter. So we'll be doing a scroll through social media again this afternoon, too, which is always a fun part of doing this program, because it gets interesting as the day goes on. Let's see. I want to see if we can talk about a few things. I got a lot of other interesting things coming up we're going to talk about today. So I hope you'll stay with me this afternoon, the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB Online. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the program. Always a pleasure bringing you the best in Internet Talk Radio here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America. We'll be coming right back. I'm going to take a brief break, and we'll have more great talk radio for you here. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and thank you for tuning in. Take a brief break, having some news headlines right now, see what's going on across the nation. And in the news today, we got a story of Acosta, who is will be leaving. He is resigning after the incident with He's going to be leaving anyway. We'll have that story. Also coming up in the news, the hurricanes continue to this tropical depression bearing on Louisiana, and we'll have that story and a whole lot more. Coming up more on that with Donald Trump. I heard this before I went on the air. It looks like he's going to be talking about. He had a really good thing to say about AOC. We're going to talk about that, so stay tuned for it. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in just a little while here. Gary J. Russen, GJRB News. There you go, Rusty Stratton on GJRB Online, and together with our heartfelt love from our GJRB list. Gary J. Russen with you in the afternoon on Friday, the Gary Russen program. Freestyle Friday edition. A little bit of music, a little bit of talk, a little bit of fun to get you through the afternoon here on GJRB Online. Got a lot of interesting things to talk about today, so we're going to keep our going, and we have different news. We're going to do a scroll through social media coming up here in a little while. And, of course, a lot of other really good things. So, just one of those things we're just going to keep on doing here on the Gary Russen program. So I want to kind of roll through here and find some stories. We're going to do our scroll through social media. So I'm going to need to go into my page here and pull that up. And get that ready to go. So I thought we'd just do that so we can find some more interesting stories on all the social sites, including all of them, like Facebook and, you know how that goes.
Let's scroll through social media.
That means we go through Facebook, which I do still, Twitter, and some of the other ones like MeWe and Convo, and Twitter, and all in places. You hear us live on Twitter, by the way, if you want to. Live, and you can get into the chat room that way through Twitter. It's real easy. Just go into Twitter, and I am the Radio Maniac. And when you get in there, you'll see the Antique Radio emblem, which I'm going to go to that page right now. I should see it. The Antique Radio emblem with GJRB Online next to it. When you click that, it brings up the widget for our broadcast, and you can listen right there. It's kind of a neat thing. I kind of like that. I think that's the reason why I kind of been choosing Twitter over Facebook, because it's been so much easier to maybe grab some listeners because I'm actually broadcasting on there. You can actually go over there and hear our show live on there. And let's see, why I might should be seeing that here a little bit. Kind of going through the page right now, and I'm looking for it. And usually I see it right away, and sometimes I don't. Okay. I'm going to refresh back up the page here and see if maybe perhaps I missed it. It does come up. Some stuff there on Tucker Carlson we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. But I'm going to want to look down the page here and see if we have any, my show's tweeting. Looking here. Usually sometimes if I can't find it on that page, I usually go into my profile page because I know I'll find it right away. Anyway, yeah, there it is. The Gary Russen program, 71219 part. First part, opening part, and it's sitting there, and there is the widget. When you click that widget with the radio dial on there, it'll open up and you can listen to the show right there, and you can get into the chat room from that location, and you can listen to the show. That's what makes it cool. I like that. So we're going to be doing that here in a few minutes. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We don't have let me check. I haven't checked my social site yet. Got too many tabs open again. I think that's slowing things down just a little bit. So I really don't think I need my email at this time. And I'm going to go into this one. I'm going to kind of click out of that and leave my news headlines up. Let's see. I'm going to go now to my Spreaker page. That's what I'm looking for. It's what it is. It's when I go into something and say, well, again, like I said, I'll go in there. I'll say, what am I in here for? And it gets kind of frustrating at times. I go into it. I'll say, wait a minute. What am I in here for? Why can't I find anything? Why am I? I'll forget something. We do have 2 people in the chat room as I'm looking right now because, like I told you before, sometimes I have to refer to my page because I start the studio offline for like about 15 minutes to get a launch on things. That lets me talk a little bit longer, but at least until I get my 3-hour plan, I just let it run offline for a little while so that I can maybe be on just a little bit longer, but sometimes it doesn't always work. I really would like to have my 3-hour plan. I don't know. If I could get someone invest in GJRB and maybe help me get that 3-hour plan, I'd really appreciate it. I don't know. I'm really getting kind of to a point where but we have 2 people anyway. Caramel Conservative is on. Ed Delgado in the chat room. Absolutely fabulous. She had a good show the other night. And I'm going to be talking about AOC in just a little bit because President Trump, I guess, had something to say about her today, which I just heard earlier. I wish I could get that soundbite because I thought it was kind of funny. And Blake Myers is with us right now, too. Hi, Blake. How you doing? You found our show again? Is it posting on Facebook or not? Like I said, I've been kind of really irritated with him lately, and I know it shows at times. I'm trying to be a little bit more patient about it, but it's still on the verge of irritation because I don't know why I can't get a posting without having to pay $10 for listeners. I think it's totally ridiculous. So I'm going to post the next part over on Convo and MeWe. So I got that coming up. And I'm going to post also on my other site. I usually post on Pinterest. And I don't know. I heard you the other night, Ed, saying that you are having your show posted on Instagram. And quite frankly, I don't know how the heck to do that. Because I wanted my show over there. But I really don't know why I can't seem to figure that out. But I have, let me check my Spotify, because I think I'm on there. I've been on Spotify for a while, at least my talk shows. I'm putting those on because I don't play as much music on my talk shows as I do my music shows. And I don't know how Spotify is about the copyright thing and stuff. And so I try to keep it at a minimum if I'm going to be on other platforms. And I'm trying to see if this show is on the Spotify platform at this point. So I'm opening it up now to see if anybody is if I'm getting. Let me see. I want to flip over there and see why I'm not seeing myself on. Okay, let me reduce some stuff down here a little bit. And sometimes Spotify doesn't open up right away. Well, let's see. Okay, let me see. I think it's opening. It's opening. It takes a while. Let's see. I'm going to go to, let's see, my show here under podcast. And see if we are there. Because I think that we should be on there on Spotify. Let's see here. I'm going to go to that page. Meanwhile, we are running out of time on this one. We've got about 2 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm going to flip. But again, I keep the title of the show until the hour change. And then when the hour changes, then I'll change the shows to part 2. That's so that I can recognize part 1, part 2, part 3, you know what I'm saying, with this show. But here we are. Today is the 12th of July. And let me see. Here we go. 7/12/19. There it is. The show's right there. Absolutely fabulous. And let's see if I can click it. Showing that I'm on Spotify. So the show is being heard on Spotify, folks. So if you want to catch the Gary Russen program, I'm live on Spotify and available there. And so I guess it don't play for me. I don't want to confuse myself anyway. But I'm there on Spotify. And you can catch the Gary Russen program right there. Absolutely fabulous. And you want to be on the program? I hope you'll join me. Spotify listeners, and of course Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, Twitter, and I'm going to go to the other sites in the next segment. So keep it here, the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB Online. Saturday Extra tomorrow. Ben will be with us, and we're talking about what happened back home in my home city of Pittsburgh, McKnight Road, downtown Pittsburgh, around Pittsburgh. It's part of North Hills, known as North Hills. And that is a large shopping area there. And they had a large sinkhole. And I'm going to be talking about that next hour here on GJRB Online. Pretty interesting. Oh, man. Anyway, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a brief break, and then I'm going to be right back. I got more of the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Freestyle Friday edition here on GJRB Online on Spreaker. Be right back. Got more in just a moment on the GJRB Online Network.